right, you guys, if you've got a Tacoma, a 4Runner, or a Tundra, and you've ever looked into adding accessories or modifications onto your vehicle, there's a good chance you've stumbled across MESO Customs, which to my understanding, they are a small business, but anyways, they make really cool add-on aftermarket accessories for us Toyota owners. I just want to say to start out too that this video is not sponsored at all. I have no affiliation with MESO Customs or any personal relationship with them. Everything I'm going to show you in this video are things I have purchased myself and genuinely love. And you all know I'm just a big Toyota fangirl. I love modifying my Toyota, and MESO makes a good number of these modifications that I love. So I will be showing you guys my top 5 favorite modifications from MESO Customs I have on my truck, as well as at the end a couple of honorable mentions. And I know that like 99% of you guys that watch my videos are Toyota owners yourself, so if you have a modification that you like from MESO Customs that you don't see me mention in this video, definitely drop me a comment down below. But yeah, with that, let's get into it. Okay, I also just want to say that my only real gripe with MESO, and the only reason I'm really mentioning this, is because if it's your first time ordering something from MESO, or your first time really hearing about them, you might encounter this and kind of get frustrated with it. But basically, it's just like their lack of inventory in general. I feel like every time I go on their website, like half the things are sold out. Things don't become available for a really, really long time. And I don't know if that's kind of a marketing play. And to be honest, if it is, I have totally fallen for it to order things as soon as I see them, just because I know they'll probably go out of stock soon. Or if it's genuinely because they make things in small batches and that's just the nature of having a small business. Either way, in my own experience with multiple MESO products, there have been things that I wanted that I haven't been able to order because they're out of stock. But don't fear, because most of the time I just head over to one of their resellers, and the one I always like to tell you guys about is Tacoma, because I do have a 5% discount code for anything on their website. Usually you can have better luck finding stock on the MESO products you want from there, so that's what I would recommend. The last thing I want to mention, and this is completely separate, but anyways, on August 5th, so coming up in a few weeks from when I post this video, Off-Road Warehouse is having a big event at every single one of their store locations, and I will be at their San Diego one. You know, I've done a few collabs with Off-Road Warehouse and they've been a ton of fun. They are my go-to shop for any work I need to get done on my truck. They actually had an event a couple weeks back at all of their stores, and I was there as well. I got to meet so many of you guys, see your guys' Tacomas. I remember to bring my stickers to hand out to you guys when I saw you. There were a ton of giveaways on truck accessories. It was just so much fun. So come by if you're in the area, save the date for sure. More details will be in the description box, but even if you're not local to the San Diego location and you have an Off-Road Warehouse near you, be sure to check out that store on August 5th for, again, a ton of giveaways, good deals on parts, sales, and a whole lot of fun. All right, starting out at number 5, we have the Stealth Pro Shift Knob. Check it out. What looks like the normal OEM TRD Pro Shift Knob, here there's actually 2 hidden buttons where the red inserts are on the side of the shift knob. You can press them from the top or the side. They are very easy to control. The buttons also come in black, so if red's not your vibe, you get a set of black ones to insert instead. So with these 2 buttons, you can really hook them up to anything, maybe a light bar. I've seen a lot of really good suggestions on my videos to hook one of them up to a front camera, although you'd have to get a little bit custom for that, I think. But the kit does come with a harness that allows you to hook up one of the buttons without any cutting or splicing into the factory wiring to your ECT button, which everybody's Tacoma does have this. Now, what does pressing the ECT power button do? Some people don't know this, and when I first got my Tacoma, I didn't know what this button was either, but basically it stands for electronically controlled transmission. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it because that's not the point of this video, but this button has been in Toyotas forever. But literally straight out of the manual, it says, use when high levels of response and feelings are desirable, such as when driving in mountainous regions or when pulling a trailer. But really all it does under the hood is it's adjusting your shift point so that you can reach higher RPMs before shifting, and this is going to give you greater control of your speed. There's a lot of people that like driving with ECT power activated all the time, so having this control right at your fingertips on the shift knob can be really nice. It certainly is easier to feel for than pressing the button. But overall, the install on this one, if you're just hooking up ECT power, is pretty easy. I would give it like a 2 or 3 out of 5. I say 3 out of 5 because it really depends. If you want to hook up a different accessory, you might have to do some custom wiring just depending on what it is. But otherwise, if you're just looking for the ECT power upgrade, which again comes in the kit, it's pretty straightforward. I think this one's a really clever modification and makes use out of the design of the Pro OEM shift knob. This next one is one I've had for years and I love it. It is the MESO Minimalist Key Fob, and all it really is a cover that replaces your existing OEM one, and I believe it's made out of ABS plastic. Now, besides the different appearance from the factory key fob, which I truly think this is a better look than the OEM one, it is very scratch resistant, and I can attest to that because I've dropped my OEM key fob before on concrete and it's gotten scratched up, whereas I've dropped this one over the years countless times on trails, on the concrete, and it's held up pretty well. It looks pretty good still. But one of the bigger reasons that a lot of people like myself really like it is that it does have a smaller profile overall. I think it's smaller by about like 25% compared to the OEM key fob, and that is because it does not have that little spare valet key. Now, for someone like me that has remote entry, push to start, and also with my tailgate that normally you have to use a physical key for, I hooked up the pop and lock for, so I don't need to use my physical key. I really am fine with just having my remote, but if that's not you and you do still like the smaller profile of the MESO key, they sell a version 2 that allows you to put the spare key in the back. Their key fob also does come in various different colors, and I think they have ones that are similar to the OEM colors so you can kind of match your truck. They've also got different color buttons, so lots of different combinations. The one I have also has a bottle opener, so that's a cool little extra feature. If you want to install this, it's very simple. I would say it's like a 1 out of 5 on the difficulty scale. Basically, you just take apart your existing key fob, move the internals to the MESO one, and that's it. At number 3, we have probably the smallest and simplest one of the batch, and that is the custom TRD Push to Start replacement button. The original push to start button just says engine start stop, but this one's a little more fun because it says TRD. And I know how simple this one is. It's purely just for aesthetics, but it makes me happy, and I don't know if it's worth the $25 for some people, but you guys do you. You can see you still get the blue backlighting and also the texture and material. It's really hard to pick up on camera, but I will just say from in person is very, very similar and color matched to all the other buttons and switches and controls here in the truck, which is really nice. If you haven't caught on by now, one thing about MESO Customs is all of their stuff is clean and their quality is like that of the OEM parts as well. The only thing is that while I was researching and looking up this button before making this video, I didn't find it really anywhere online, and I suspect that even though I said before I feel like MESO has trouble keeping stock or it's really hard to get things on their website, this might not be that issue. They might have purposely removed it to avoid litigation from Toyota themselves, because TRD is a Toyota brand, Toyota Racing Development. This button that they were selling was using the TRD logo. So I don't know, that's why they might be kind of gone. So hopefully if you still want one, you guys can find one online. And it looks like they do still sell a red version. It just says engine start stop, but I might have gotten lucky like 3 years ago when I first bought this, because now it might not be available. Anyways, if you do get a push button and want to install this, I would say this is like a 1 or 2 out of 5. Another very easy one to install. The only slightly tricky thing is removing that chrome vent that goes around. If I remember correctly, the kit comes with a tool to help you remove that. You gotta finagle around a little bit, but eventually you can pull it off, take the button off, replace it, and enjoy your aftermarket button. Okay, number 2, we're getting into the really good stuff, but this is one I actually recently did and posted about, but it's the Puddle Pods. The Puddle Pods fit underneath the OEM mirrors, and they're just LED floodlights, and when I say these are a game changer at night, they really are. They help out a lot with illuminating the ground and surrounding area of the truck really far. Like, I don't have exact measurements, but just from my own eyesight and trying them out the past few weeks, it feels like it's like almost 15 or 20 feet. Don't quote me on that, but it is very far out. I do like how if you have the smart key, which is basically just the remote key, when you walk up to your truck, normally when it's locked, you can already see it's turning on, but that's because the dome lights and interior lights turn on as well, but it's basically wired to them. So from the outside, as you're approaching your truck, especially at night, the effect is really cool. So here, I'll do it again. Super cool. And I do like that fade out. I don't know if I showed this that well in my install video of them, but you can see they have a very low profile. You really don't know they're there unless you're looking for them. And I believe, at least according to the MESO website, that these will work if you have the 360 cameras because they're in a different location. My truck didn't have those, so I can't confirm, but just wanted to put that out there. It's only been a few weeks again, so I haven't done off-roading, and I really don't go off-roading at night, but for my upcoming camping trips, I am really excited and stoked to have these Puddle Pods. They are really gonna come in handy, and I've also had my eye on looking into getting the switch. So basically, MESO Customs also has an available switch where you can command them to turn on anytime you want, or you can have them be off all the time. Right now, they just turn on whenever I walk up to the truck or leave a door open, and it would be nice to have better control over them. I really want the switch for that reason, but it is basically sold out on the MESO website and everywhere else I checked. So if anyone knows or sees the switch available, let me know. Okay, you guys, I'm not gonna lie, the install on this one was a little bit rough, at least it was for me. You have to take the doors apart, and this is on both sides, of course. You've got to fish wires into really hard to reach places. The wiring isn't hard, it's just moving things around and routing things in the right place that ends up taking the most time. Knowing what I know now, I would schedule out some time if you're gonna do this install yourself, and I would rate this difficulty like a 4 or 5 out of 5 if I'm being completely honest. I did post a video where I talked about some of these things that were difficult, and I'm not just, I promise, saying this for self-promotion or anything. It's just, don't make the same mistakes I made to save yourself some time. And also on that video, I noticed that a lot of you guys commented when you did your install some other good tips and tricks that I didn't mention because I just didn't know about. So yeah, check that out first if you're going to tackle the install. But once it is installed, I love this modification. It's like a 9 out of 10, but when I get the switch, it'll be like a 10 out of 10. All right, now at number 1, my personal favorite MESO mod to date on my truck, it's their Total Tail Stage 1 kit. Look, there are so many aftermarket taillights out there for the Toyota Tacoma, and I think even MESO has a set of their own. But in my opinion, I really like the OEM ones, and also for something like a taillight, I didn't want to get blacked out or tinted ones for safety reasons. So at first glance, you might take a look at these taillights and think they're just from the factory, and that's partially true. The housing is still my original OEM one from 2019. I know ever since then, Toyota did upgrade to like a more clear style, but they're very similar looking to the ones I currently have right now. But what the MESO add-on is are replacement bulbs and a slight change in wiring so that your turn signal is in a different spot. Now this is easier demonstrated than explained, so let me show you. When you brake, the total tail mod that's on the left gives you the full C effect and is brighter compared to my originals on the right. When you go in reverse, the total tail backup light is brighter and a cooler white LED. This is my favorite. The turn signals are amber and relocated to the bottom where the reverse lights are. These are also great because the install is super easy. It's like a 1 or 2 out of 5 in my opinion. Anyone can do it because it's plug and play. The only thing you need is a 10mm socket because there is 2 bolts you need to remove a taillight. Other than that, it's just pulling out the existing bulbs, putting the new bulbs in, and putting a few connectors together. Super simple. And since I'm mentioning the install, you might need to add on their additional low resistor. This is if you're getting hyper flash, but I found that on my 2019, I did not need to install that because I didn't get hyper flash. But if these still aren't bright enough for you, MESO sells a total tail stage 2 kit, which to my understanding is the exact same as the stage 1 kit, but uses much brighter bulbs. And these bulbs are from one of my favorite companies for LED lighting, VLEDs. And then if you want to take this even a step further, I just saw on their website that VLEDs actually has an upgrade if you already have the total tail stage 2 kit. You can use their Triton switchbacks for an even brighter upgrade. So lots of different options. I still am only on the stage 1. I find that they're very bright. Somebody asked me how these are holding up, and I have to say I haven't had issues for the past few years. I installed this a while ago and so far still going strong. There are so many Toyota Tacomas on the road, especially here in San Diego, but every once in a blue moon I will stop behind a 3rd gen and notice that they have the total tails, which makes me just like really happy. But I swear for 99.9% of people out there, you wouldn't even notice unless you knew about it or were looking at it, because really the appearance is truly the same quality, if not better than the factory. So I really love this one. It's my top one for sure. I do have a couple of honorable mentions I wanted to talk about before I ended this video. I really like this extended fuse panel. You can see there's quite a bit of height added to it from the OEM one over here. And this is for the fuse panel that is under on the driver's side dash. For a while, I was actually running this one, and then I saw this on their website maybe a couple months ago and picked it up. But if you don't know what this is for, basically in a lot of my install videos actually, when we're doing any sort of wiring, a lot of times we're adding in an ADA circuit, which adds height because you're tapping into a specific fuse. So this little fuse cover thing will no longer fit and you need something much taller, which is why you should go with one of these. And you can see this newer one is a little bit improved because it's got a bunch of spare fuses as well as a fuse pulling tool. The only disadvantage, of course, is that you don't get, you know, all the nice labels to figure out what fuse is. So you've got to like look that up online or keep that as reference somewhere else. But I do like this one a lot. And you can see there are a couple more openings too, which is nice for all your wires. MESO sells something like this, and their version is called the gas hole. It's pretty cool. You just take your gas cap off, and it fits right in. I'm not sure if it was MESO who came out with it first or somebody else, but this is what the gas hole does, but this is not a MESO product I have here specifically. This is one from Toughskins, and I personally like the Toughskins one a little bit better because they come in a lot of different designs. You can get a plain black one. You could see I've got a real carbon fiber one here, which is pretty cool. And they've got all sorts of other patterns, so I figured it would be fun if I got this one instead, but MESO has a very similar product. Oh, but this one also is, I think, $5 cheaper than the MESO one too. So MESO sells 3D printed but very nice quality custom switch panels. For a while that was the only option if you wanted to add a custom switch layout and get rid of what was here before, which I literally only had this single blank. And then this was like a cubby before, and I wanted to add more switches, specifically small style switches, and I was not able to do that with the OEM factory setup, but MESO came out with a bunch of different switch panel layouts, so you could add tall switches, short switches, any given number of them. The only slight downside was you had to know exactly how many switches you wanted to have in order to order the specific setup. Otherwise, if you got one with, say, like 4 openings, and eventually you wanted to add 5 accessories and have 5 switches, you would have to buy the piece again. Also, they were doing kind of limited runs on them, and I've only seen them do a handful of them. It is a great place to go for switches, but what I would recommend over them for this specifically is Guild Outfitters. This is a Guild one, and I like the Guild ones a lot better because you can see here that there's like this oval shaped cutout, and that's because you can get the modular inserts, and the modular inserts come in all sorts of different combinations, and so I can switch this out whenever I want. If I need to add more switches, I can add a 4th, I can get a tall one added in, and I don't have to replace like the whole base panel. Not saying MESO is a bad place, I just prefer Guild over them. But yeah, check out either if you need to add switches. The last thing I have is something I actually haven't installed yet, and that's because I've been a little bit unsure about it, and I'm curious to actually get your guys' feedback. But basically, see under here where the headlights are is like this thin plastic piece. This one isn't too dirty right now, but when bugs and stuff get in them, they're really annoying to clean. So I picked up a set of these, and they're just, you know, smooth replacements for them. You can also order these and get them color matched to the color of your truck. I don't know why I didn't do that. I don't know why I just got the black ones. I think maybe I'll order a set of color matched ones if you guys are interested. I've never seen what these look like in person, but I've seen pictures and they look pretty cool. So if anyone has these and likes them, or maybe if you don't like them, let me know. So you guys, those are my top 5 favorite MESO mods plus a couple extra. Let me know if you guys agree, if there are any other MESO mods you have on your vehicles that I didn't mention again. I hope this was helpful. Definitely don't forget about the Off-Road Warehouse event on August 5th. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want to connect more with me, you can follow me on my Instagram. It is at ChloeKuo Taco. I post more in real time on there. But other than that, I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.